We're getting a better idea of what's planned for the Shipyard District Park in Green Bay. The city now releasing new renderings of the amenities coming to the waterfront. Victoria Frazier joins us live in the studio with the latest update on that construction process. Victoria.
Yeah, Jason, these are just a few of the renderings from the City of Green Bay's Park Committee, from outdoor seating to shipyard themed art sculptures, with the hopes of creating a unique blend of different attractions for all age groups. Construction on phase 1 of the project started in August of 2022. That first phase including a floating dock, fishing pier, and kayak launch. Phase 2 is a $10 million build out, $5 million of that coming from grants. After several years of public input sessions and surveys about the amenities community members wanted to see, the park will have something for pretty much everyone, like a playground, fitness area, splash pad, sand volleyball court, and beer garden and dog park, just to name a few. The park will also have a stage and lawn area that can hold shows for up to 5,000 people. Officials say the redevelopment will add to nearby projects like the construction of a 225-unit apartment and fire department.
I think in like 3 to 5 years, people are going to be like, wow, I can't even remember what that was like. This is so cool. And the different aspects of the housing and the fire station and kind of the park and just that whole area. It's really going to reshape the entire way that people experience this area of Green Bay.
The city is expected to start construction of the park during the spring of next year. Jason?